Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor, and this is going to be another multiplayer battle for Total War Warhammer. So I realized that the first few multiplayer battles that I played were pretty popular relative to other videos on my channel, so I definitely want to do more multiplayer. I'll just be honest, I was a little frustrated with the amount of Lord sniping that was going on pre-patch 1.2, and just some of the wonky controls and how to get around it. And, you know, I tried to come up with ways that I could still have fun with the multiplayer battles and not have to participate in the Lord sniping. And I think I did a pretty good job with the Dwarfs. I know some people in the comments were giving me a hard time because they're like, oh, you just, you know, stand close to the edge of the map or something like that with Dwarves. And it's like, well, yeah, it's either that or Lord sniping. Like, those are basically your two options in 1.1. I mean, another third option might be hide your Lord, which I saw in some competitive play where people would just get the cheapest Lord possible, just like hide it in the forest somewhere, and then just spend all the rest of your points on an actual army and run in. But with the new changes here in patch 1.2, I think it's going to be a lot better. So I'm going to play a lot more multiplayer, and I hope that you guys and gals will like that. And I think I'll be able to play different factions and have more fun with it too. So I definitely want to play a lot of Dwarfs because I know the Dwarfs are very popular on this page. I already had one subscriber ask me to play another Dwarf. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm trying to sneak one of these in. I'm going out of town tonight, and I'm going to be gone for a week. So I'm going to see if I can sneak in a game or two of multiplayer here. But as soon as I get back, I'm going to play a lot of multiplayer, give you a ton of videos. I'm going to have 9 Beastmen videos released before I leave. I'm in the process of uploading some of those right now. And yeah, so, you know, please be patient with me. I do go on vacation sometimes, but I'm gonna try to give you a bunch of content before I leave. As I said, I've got 9 new episodes on a fresh Beastman campaign, so I hope that'll hold you guys and gals over until I get back. But I want to give you a couple of multiplayer battles as well. Okay, so let's get in there. Let's look at some of the changes here really quick first, and then we'll get into a multiplayer. Because there were a ton of changes with this patch. I'm going to play the Dwarfs for this episode, so I'm just going to specifically talk about the Dwarfs. But as I get to the other factions, I'll go into more detail. I'll try to see if I can play one with each faction and put on the channel here, at least one. And then I'll see if I can give you 1 or 2 of these a day. These are pretty quick to play. They're usually about 15 minutes long. So, one of the biggest changes that came down is now you can customize your lords, which is really cool. I mean, if you watch my Dwarf number 4 that I had, this is exactly what I was asking for. I was saying it would be really sweet if you could purchase items and choose which abilities you get for different costs. So it's almost like they read my mind and just implemented this. Now, it's not perfect. I still do wish with other lords you could buy magic resist items or physical resistance items. Specifically, just so that you could counter character sniping even more. But instead, they just nerfed the daylights out of magic, so I'm fine with that too. I mean, magic's fun, magic's cool, but they needed to do something to nerf it versus lords, because you shouldn't be able to just run up with, like, you know, Manfred and 2 vampires and just triple spirit leech a lord, and it dies, and then the entire battle's over, because lords are so important. So that's just the kind of stuff I'm talking about that just wasn't a lot of fun to play. So they haven't completely fixed it yet, but they've kind of sort of helped in that direction. The Dwarves, though, naturally have pretty high magic resist, or at least sort of high. So hopefully it won't be as much of an issue here. And Manfred costs, I think, a ton of extra money now if you want all those spells. But anyways, we can talk about spellcasting more when we do some of the other factions. It's not as relevant for Dwarves. The thing that's most relevant is that they nerf the daylights out of magic in terms of the cooldowns, so you can't use a ton of spells, or you can't spam the same spell, I'll put it that way, over and over and over again. You have to use a diversity of spells now, because most spells have just a huge cooldown, at least double what it was before. So it encourages people to choose different spells and use spell diversity instead of just spamming the same thing, which is good. I approve of that. Okay, so let's look at how these lords work. Alright, so now you can choose whether or not you want to buy abilities. So you can uncheck these, and your lords get a lot cheaper, so 1650. So they're more expensive out of the gate, I believe, than they were in the past. But if you take away a lot of their spells, then they're actually cheaper, depending on what you want to do. Also, they added in items. Most lords have more options than just one. Thorgrim only has one. But it is a really good item. Look at this. Extra +8 melee attack on everybody within 45 yards. And you know how much I love this. I've talked about this in the Dwarf campaign. Anything that has a really low base and gets a pretty large flat number, it's a massive increase. So look at the Dwarf Warriors. Cost-wise, they're fairly cheap units. They have really high defense, but really low melee attack. So getting +8 means they're going to be doing, you know, over a third more damage. They're probably going to be doing, you know, somewhere between 35 and 40% more damage. So that's really good. So getting a huge modifier like this and putting it on your Lord allows you to really make your cheap units astronomically more cost effective. So I do this in the campaign with the skills and with the technologies, and I kind of wish you could get other skills in the tree. That might be asking a bit much, but I wish you could buy like Axe Lord or something here, like points into Axe Lord for your skill tree, because that's what really makes the dwarves shine in the campaign, is they have really strong skills and really strong technologies. But here, in the past, they have fallen a little flat. I think dwarves were probably one of the weaker factions, but being able to select items like this definitely bumps them up the ladder, along with the nerfs to magic. So obviously dwarves don't use magic, so it helps them a lot. Okay, so Thorgrim, I think, is the guy that I want. And I had traditionally just used Ungrim all the time, and it's because Ungrim has much heavier armor piercing, has the same armor. I think he has higher melee attack but lower defense, and he was just cheaper overall, so he was just a good bargain. But now, and I've read this more carefully and studied this, I think, Thorgrim does magical attacks, which means that armor doesn't work at all. So he has 100% armor penetration. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about this, but he has 100% armor penetration, and if they have magic resist, then you know, they'll resist it by 25%, which is significant. But let me just look really quick here. I'm wondering if all lords have magic resist. I don't think they do. I was looking, they have missile resistance. I'm looking at Manfred specifically because the vampire counts are very popular in multiplayer. But I don't think they have magic resist. So only the dwarves have magic resist. Unless maybe you could get items or something that give you magic resist. But naturally, no. Naturally, I think the dwarves are the only ones with magic resist because you can't get magic resist items on this. So that means that you're doing full damage every time you swing with Thorgrim. And I've underestimated that in the past. I was just like, oh, magical damage, whatever. You know, not a huge deal. But no, it's a huge deal. It's 100% penetration unless they have magic resist. So this makes like the wraiths for the vampire counts much more powerful than I thought they were. Okay, so we're going to get rid of all these. And the reason I get rid of these, first of all, if your lord dies, I mean, the match is over. Pretty much. There's really not a lot of point in purchasing this one. Foe Seeker, I'm not going to be charging. I mean, getting extra vigor would be nice, but it's probably going to be wasted. Same thing here. Charge bonus is wasted. Armor piercing's good, but it's not 150 gold good. This is good, but it's a 90-second cooldown. It only lasts for 15 seconds. I mean, this would be nice if battles, I thought they were going to be over quickly, you know, and I just needed that burst of strength. But dwarf battles are going to go on for quite a long time, and so I think this is going to be down for most of the fight. Because it lasts for those 15 seconds, and then the cooldown doesn't start until it's over. So it's going to be up for 15, down for 90. Up for 15, down for 90. I just think I could spend 160 gold elsewhere pretty nice. Or a more efficient use of gold is what I'm trying to say. But this book, however, is very strong. So we'll go with the book. Let me just pull up my preset here, and I'll just explain kind of my thought process, and then we'll go into multiplayer. I just don't want to rush through this because this is patch 1.2, and I know there's a lot of new stuff, and people are just kind of curious, you know, what the options are, what I think about different options, so I'm just going to go into it. So I've got the 1900 Thorgrim that I just described. I think the Runesmith got a massive buff. I think it's really, really good now. This is a must-have. I think this is a must-have with almost any composition, because you can remove these things that are just goofy. Like, that's 140 gold, and it gives you 4% extra armor piercing. Well, most dwarves don't have a lot of armor piercing unless you get a lot of hammers, which I don't think are usually a good bargain. That's not the way to go with dwarves, I don't think. I think you want air superiority. I'll explain that in a second. This is nice. This is nice. I mean, it's 15 seconds for 45, and only down for 45, so this is pretty good. Now, it's worth noting that while pretty much all magic was nerfed. The runes for the runesmith were not nerfed, I don't think. At least their cooldowns were not nerfed. They're still 45 seconds. So that's pretty good, because when everything else gets nerfed and you stay the same, that means that you indirectly got buffed. So now it says a chance opponent will resist damage. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know if it deals less damage now or what. I don't think it has said that in the past. So it could just be a clarification of what's always been there. And it could also have been a nerf. But I'm going to go for this one. It's pretty cheap. Cost-wise, it's only 72 gold to pick up. So I think it's a pretty good bargain. And from what I remember, it does decent damage. It's your only way to do AoE damage. And this is really nice for just taking down pesky units. So I'm not sure if magic resist or armor, what kind of damage this says. It says direct damage. It doesn't say magical damage. Because on some spells, you'll notice it says, like, strong piercing or something like that. But it doesn't really define what that means. So I'm not sure. But it's cheap enough, and it has a low enough cooldown that I'm just going to try it out. This is... It looks good. It looks good, but it's 138, so it's expensive. Now, 44 damage resistance is quite nice. There is definitely a possibility that I need to get this. If they're going to ward snipe me, I would want this. I'm hoping people will go away from ward sniping, because I don't think it's going to be as effective. But you could definitely get this, because that extra 44% damage resistance, in addition to your natural 25% magic resistance, means that, you know, spells would only deal, I believe, 69. They deal 69% less damage. That's just a huge debuff. But it's 135, and it only lasts for 12 seconds, and it's a 90-second cooldown. So it's the same philosophy as over here. Again, you're going to have huge fights that last a very long time. So I just don't think these burst kind of spells are going to be super efficient on the dwarves. This really nice, I think. I mean, 20% extra missile resistance. This is going to ensure that you're able to trade shots with your opponents. You already have with dwarves, it might be overkill, but you already have, you know, some of the highest armor and the best shields in the whole game, and this is just going to solidify your position. So I think it's pretty good if you're getting shot at. You know, there's a chance that you may not want to get it. It is kind of on the expensive side, but I'm going to try it out. I think it could be worth it. It just ensures that I think that you're going to be better suited to trading shots if someone wants to do that. Okay. And then what else? Oh, this. Very good. Very good bargain. 146 plus 8 melee attack again. And plus 4 leaderships. This is, you know, almost half the price of Thorgrim's bonus. So it's a really, really good deal. There's a possibility you should just still go Ungrim. Or maybe this guy if you want to go really cheap. But I'm going to try this setup. So that's really good. Make sure I get that. And then this is... I mean, dwarves already have really high leadership. I don't think it's worth paying 140 gold for that. Ungrim... I mean, I'm not going to go into these guys. We might try them out on another thing. I think Thorgrim's better. And the reason is he has higher melee defense. And he basically has 100%... penetration against things that don't have magic resist, which are most enemies. So even though it doesn't technically say he has high piercing, I'm pretty sure that with magical attacks it's 100% piercing, unless they have magic resist. Okay, now what else do we have? So we have dwarf warriors. So as I said, you know, traditionally I have used long beards in the past, quite a lot of long beards, because before this patch, they were just the best bargain. I mean, they had really high defense, they had higher melee attack, they were immune to psychology, which is important, so they're like immune to fear, and they had a higher base weapon damage. They are more expensive, but in my mind, I just thought they were more efficient overall than the Dwarf Warriors. However, this patch changed, and I think it's because of these things. Every unit that you're going to get that's close to these two guys is going to get plus 16 attack. So because they have such a low base, they only have 22 melee attack, then they're going to go to 38, and so that makes them percentage-wise, you know, worth a whole lot more. You're getting a much better bargain because they start with such a low base, and you're saving gold by not having to get these guys. Now, yes, they will be higher. You know, they're going to go up to 48 melee attack. So there's a chance you could still use these guys once again, but because these start from a lower base, I think that you're getting a better bargain for your gold with these guys at this juncture. I'm not 100% about that. Dwarves already have really high leadership, so I don't think the psychology immune is necessarily, or is necessary is what I'm trying to say, but it is still really good. These guys, I don't know. Jury's out on them. I mean, they do have really high armor. They have super high defense. They could really hold the line very well. But are they worth almost 3 Dwarf Warriors? I don't think so, because you need to be able to cover your flanks, which means you're going to need to, like, surround yourself at least with some of these guys. I might try a game where I don't, like, do the corner thing, but, if you want to sit in the corner and they want to actually come out and engage you, why would you not do that? They could make you come to them if they got artillery. Most people are just too cheap, and they're trying to skimp on the artillery in order to get higher, more expensive lords, and you make them pay for that by having artillery superiority. So I don't think it's cheap to go into the corner, because it's on them to get a proper composition against dwarves. You should know they're going to have, strong missile units, and you want to expose them. You want them to come out so you can get their flanks. I don't personally think it's... I've explained that in depth before. I think it's just good strategic planning, and it's on the enemy to realize what's going on. I mean, that's a huge part of multiplayer. You have to think, what's the enemy going to do, and what do I need to get to improve that? That's why it's different from a lot of other games, because you have to think about all this beforehand, and then bring your army in, and you don't have a lot of information other than knowing which faction they are. So, I don't know. But I might try to walk out. We'll see. This composition... I might do this one not walking out and just see how it goes, and then I'll walk out and do another one if you guys and gals want to see it. But I'm telling you, the dwarves are at an extreme disadvantage if you just walk into the middle of the map and just walk up and try to melee people, because they're going to flank around behind you with Demigryph Knights or with Blood Knights or really anything, and just completely surround you and kill you. And it's like, oh, is that an honorable way to die? It's like, I don't know. I don't care. I don't want to lose the fight. Like, that's just how you lose, right? You run out into the middle because that's what everyone wants to do to dwarves. You don't have cavalry. You don't have a good charge bonus. You're really slow. It's going to cost you a lot of vigor to move out that far. Like, they're specifically designed not to do that. Like, they are your steadfast units, and it makes sense. They're... like, military tactics-wise, it makes sense. That's a strategic limitation. I mean, if they were fast, if they did have cavalry or things like that, they'd be overpowered, because they have too much armor and shields and HP and unit sizes. Like, anyways, so I'll try a normal fight, and then I'll try like a kamikaze fight if you guys and gals really want to see that. I mean, I understand people, have different opinions about what I'm saying, but anyways. So, because this is cheaper, I'm able to get some slightly spicier units. I just want to try them out a little bit. Slayers, I'm a big fan of. They just did something to them in this patch. I don't remember what it was. I think they improved their weapon strength and lowered their bonus versus large. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure they gave them more piercing, because their piercing used to be garbage. So now it's good. Because the problem with Slayers, potentially, is that, yes, they are good against horses and large units, but the problem is a lot of the large units that people field have huge armor. So Demigryph and Blood Knights specifically have really, really big armor. So do you have a good chance of hitting them? Yes, because they're large. Are you going to penetrate them and actually get through that armor? Probably not, because you have very low penetration. So even though you have a really high chance to hit, because they don't do heavy penetration, they may not be the most effective against those kinds of units. But I'm still going to try them out. They still could be a good counter to those units, especially if they have cavalry that's not heavily armored, which is very rare. But they are good against like large monsters. So if they have something like a giant, or they'd be very good against crypt horrors and things like that. They're terrible against infantry. Okay, so I have one thunder just to kind of help me control the skies a little bit. And instead of a thunder, usually I have 2 or 3 missile units to help me control the skies, but now I'm going to try an Iron Drake. So I've never used this unit before, so we're going to try it out, but the Iron Drake does a lot of piercing damage. I think one volley from an Iron Drake, I think, deals more than Thunderers. And the thing about Thunderers is their lord is not going to sit there and thunder or fire for a very long time. So what you need, if they get into range, is to like just have quick bursts, just blow them up with missiles if they're trying to mostly take out my gyrocopters. You just want to get one volley of Iron Drakes in there. Also, Iron Drakes have a little bit more utility than the Thunders, because if they aren't coming at you with their lord, you can step the Iron Drakes out front, and at least get a volley off on the infantry. And they do AoE damage, so, you know, I don't know what their explosion range is, but I suspect that they will be pretty good against, you know, incoming Graveguard or incoming Great Swords or things like that. So I think they'll be really strong there. And you could potentially flank around the side, maybe. Maybe. I think that's a dangerous move, but you could flank around the side and shoot them from the back too, and it would deal a lot of damage. Now, if I'm going against Undead, I might switch over to the Iron Drakes. I don't know. I mean, the thing that I'm most scared about with the Undead are the Graveguard. So Iron Drakes aren't going to be great against Graveguard, so I might just hold on to the Iron Drakes. Now, traditionally, you don't want to fire explosive units right into the back of your own units, but if they're firing into something like Demigryphs that are much larger, then I think I might be able to fire into them safely because the Dwarfs are so short. I'm not sure. We'll try them out. I'm not totally sold on them, but I just want to try them out. Cannons, you need at least 2 to get missile superiority a lot of times. They're great for aiming for their lords also if they're trying to get after your gyrocopters. And the gyrocopters. So these are the backbone. I think you really have to leverage gyrocopters if you're going to be a dwarf. This is your main unit, because no other faction, I don't think, has a unit that can fly and also shoot down at the ground. At least, I can't think of any. Anything else that flies with other factions has to melee attack. So this puts you in a great position to just snipe out things without getting retaliation, as long as you can control the skies. So you have to be able to control the skies. And so, you know, you need a decent front line, though. So this is always the tension with dwarves, right? Is that you need a front line that can hold the line while you take them out from the skies, but you also need to be able to protect the skies. So it's entirely possible that I should get rid of the Slayers and get, like, and the Troll Hammers and just not be cute and just get, like, you know, 4 or 5 units of Quarrelers to help control the skies. That's entirely possible. I'm just kind of trying these out in the new patch. But you want to protect these at all costs. Now, there aren't many things that people have that can actually threaten these outside of lords. So that's traditionally how I lose if I'm dwarves, is they'll have the sky superiority. They'll have like a lord and 2 heroes or something, and they'll just chase my gyrocopters around the map. So I'm going to need them to chase me into these troll hammer torpedoes, so that I can take out the lord, and the Quarrelers will help too, and the cannons. And I can even use his little debuff thing if I have to. But I'm a little scared if they have multiple flying units that I'm not going to be able to control the skies, but I just want to try it out. Okay, now they did buff the Brimstone, I believe, in this patch, because they didn't used to do flaming attacks. I'm almost certain they did not do flaming attacks in the past. Also, I think this is more piercing damage than they used to do. I'm not 100% about that, but I think it's more piercing damage, and I'm almost certain that's more range than they had before. I think they only had like 80 range before, or 70 maybe. So that's a pretty nice buff to the range, and this extra fire damage is good against regenerating units, so it's good against primarily Crypt Horrors. I don't know if it's vulnerable, if other units... That's the big one, is Crypt Horrors. I'm not sure what else would be vulnerable to flaming attacks. Usually it's things that regenerate, so it'd be Crypt Horrors, Trolls, things like that. They did buff Trolls. I haven't looked at what the buffs are, but they did buff them. Yeah, so they deal a little bit extra fire damage, extra range, extra missile damage. So they were already really strong, and now they're better. I still don't really like this guy, the Gyro Bomber. They did buff him, so now he has some health, 2200. I used to have like 1800 or something. I mean, he could almost, the Lord could almost like 2-shot him. As some Lords that were really strong. So I feel like he does have some more missile damage. He has good range. I just don't think he's better than the Brimstone. He has a lot of bombs, but it's very dangerous to fly a lot of times to get these bombs off. I'm not totally sold on him yet. He's so frail. Like, these have 50% more health, basically, and do very similar damage. There's 4 of them instead of just 1 of him, and they have flaming attacks. I just feel like Brimstone are where you want to be. There could be an argument for using the gyrocopters. The Brimstones don't have AoE attacks, the gyrocopters do. They have an AoE steam attack. So you can get behind and just really mess up infantry lines, but they don't have very much piercing at all. So they only have, what, 4 piercing? So it's not a lot of piercing. And like I said, the main threats here are things like Graveguard and Great Swords primarily. And they have heavy armor, so you want these armor-piercing rounds. It's like, yeah, they don't AoE. It'd be nice if they did, but they don't. So it's entirely possible, if I'm really afraid of Graveguards, that I should have more Iron Drakes with torpedoes, but I don't know. Okay, that's enough talking. So that's my overall strategy. So I think I still want to try the same thing with the Dwarves. I'm just going to modify it because now I can reduce the cost a little bit off the Runesmith. And with those 2 items now, I'm going to be able to field Dwarf Warriors. That saves me, hundreds of gold, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 gold, and that lets me try some of these more boutique units here. So let's get in there and try it out. Most of my videos are not this long as far as the preamble. I'm just doing this because there's a ton of changes in patch 1.2, and I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of extra insight into that. Okay, so let's just do a quick battle. Wait, hold on. Real quick, sorry. I'm not going to talk about all that stuff again, but I need to get out really quick because I need to turn off the mod. Because I have the Conquer Anywhere and Diplomatic Options mod for my campaigns. For reasons that I explained in the campaign, but you have to take it off to do multiplayer battles. So this is the mod. If you've heard me talk about this, it's a really sweet mod. It actually lets you take over the whole map instead of just very specific designated regions with all the factions. So I think it's awesome. It's compatible with 1.2 from everything that I've seen so far. So I love it. That's the only mod that I really like. I have looked at the other ones. People have asked me about radius and things like that. I haven't researched just the kind of improvements that they make. I was reading about them, but I don't know all the specifics. But it sounds like it gives the player greater advantage in a lot of places. It's weird because sometimes it says it's a lot harder than other versions of the game, but then at the same time it says things like, decreases magic costs or makes magic more effective or does all these other things. Like, it's just really hard for me to decide whether it's a buff or a nerf. Okay, Dwarves, we're going to upload army. And this is just the exact army that I described. What are greenskins going to send at me? I think this is good for greenskins. There's a chance they could have to... Okay, that's more like it. I was like, come on, really, greenskins? Don't you want to pick a more overpowered unit, or an overpowered faction like Empire or Vampire Count? So yes, he does want to go overpowered with the Empire. So they were very overpowered last patch. So we'll see what he does this patch. This is a decent army. I still think Empire's probably going to be overpowered. I mean, they did nerf magic quite a lot, but you didn't need a lot of magic with Empire to begin with. Carl's just really strong, and you just need like 1 wizard. And now you can make wizards very cheap to get if you just get 1 or 2 spells. So it's a trade-off. They're cheaper, but I'll let him press it. I don't want to rush him. They are cheaper, the wizards, but they can't have as many diversity of spells. But that's fine, I think. I don't know. I haven't tried them out multiplayer yet, but they did nerf. They may have nerfed demigryphs again. They've nerfed them quite a bit, but now its great swords are kind of the imbalance problem, I feel like. So if he fields, like a standard, like 6 great swords, what would be really good against this composition is Empire? Like 6 great swords, what is that artillery thing that he has? The missile battery thing. If he gets like 3 missile batteries, 6 great swords, and like a wizard, maybe a light wizard or something, just to hold my units in place with that net of Amenthok if I have to come to him. See, the Empire can be very, very good against dwarves because they can get missile superiority over them. They're one of the few factions that can. With that missile battery thing, is crazy. It has super long range and massive AoE damage. Like, you cannot sit there and trade shots with that thing. So if he has that, I'm going to have to run at him, and it's going to be really bad. I'm probably going to lose if he has that unit. But let's go ahead and get in here. I do like how they can't switch on you in the last 10 seconds, or whatever. Okay, so he has fire magic. I think. They said they're going to change that to where you wouldn't see a card of like what your enemy's going to get. but this still like leads me to believe he probably has a fire wizard. So they said they're going to do that, but maybe they didn't quite implement that yet. I don't think it's a huge deal. Gives you a minor bit of intel about their composition, but it's not like you can change your units around. You can just deploy perhaps slightly differently. There's not a lot of... There are some woods here. I'll try this... I don't know. I was going to say I'll try this without the corner, but I just feel like I'm going to get destroyed if I don't have a corner. I'll try it, because I know some of you guys want to see me not do a corner. I will do... Like, just... I have to get back, though. Like, I'll just use one back part of the map, and not the corner. And we'll try it out. Just to appease some people. Well, it'll be good just to show you what happens if you don't have a corner, too. I mean, I'll do that. I'll just make this an example video. I might lose, but I've heard people saying, oh, corner camping, you know, stuff like that. So we'll just show what happens if you don't go in the corner in your dwarves. So I'll probably post this up even if I lose it. We'll see. But it's going to be very hard to hold these flanks. But we'll try it. I might be able to hold it with my lords here. But it's going to be real rough. Not even going to lie, it's going to be real rough. Now that I'm talking about it, I just really don't want to do it because I feel like I'm going to lose. And it's not that I feel like I have to be sleazy to win or anything like that. It's just that's how the dwarves are designed. Like, you know, blame the design if you don't like it. I personally like it. I think it's cool to have a faction that, you know, is good with missile units. Let me do this guy. Make my runesmith 9. We'll make these guys 8. Be our 4 group. Because if he has demigryphs or something, it's going to be really bad. Now, if he has like missile battery, this can be good, sort of. I still think it's a very bad strategy, but I'll do it just because I know there's people that want to see me try to do it without being in a corner. Mortars. Halberdiers are a bad choice against dwarves. I don't have large units. Okay, I might be able to beat this. Now, I do have missile resistance. Don't forget that. Now, he does have Carl, I think, right? No, it's a wizard. Where? He may have stuff that's, like, hidden. He has to have stuff that's hidden. There's no way, because I don't see his general. So he might be trying to wait on me to come to him. Now, he also has high ground, so I can't run up there, guys. What I can do is I can just scout and find Carl. My unit should be fast enough to outrun him, I think.
Dwarf warriors! Move now! Yes!
Jeez, that was a good shot. What kind of wizard is that? I think it's... I can't tell. Oh, it's Balthazar Gelt. Okay, so that is his wizard. Okay, so Balthazar's terrible at fighting. Okay, so let's go ahead and just fan out here, just so it's harder for them to hit me. Now, I do have missile resistance, also. How far are we on? Where we can almost shoot him. Where's the bomb? Oh, there we go. Yeah, I need to try to go for flank shots here. Oh, I forgot you only get 3. That's right. What is this? Okay, so he does have demigriffs.
Gyrocopter! Come on! Off we go! For the ancestor gods! And... Yes!
Alright. Alright, now he's coming at me. Are these more demigriffs? Yeah, of course he has demigriffs. Like, why wouldn't you have demigriffs if you're Empire? Okay, so I need to run down here then. So he's running up ahead. Guys, run. Why are we not running? Run, 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 run. Go for those demigriffs. Got him down.
Dwarf warriors, come on! Let's be about this! Vengeance! Iron strings! Thunderers! Kazoo! Iron strings!
Dang, those iron drakes just shattered him. I need to fly over here, stay away. Alright, here we go. Alright, don't need to fire, don't need to fire. Let's hold the ammo, boys. Dang it. No, 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 no. Where? I think I want to take out these demigriffs first. I think they're kind of the biggest. Whoa, 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 guys! Whoa, whoa, whoa! What? Get out! What are you doing? Why did they go way up there? Oops, that was bad. I don't even know what is going on there. Why can't these guys? What are these guys? Oh, they're just. Oh, they were chasing. That's what it was. Yeah, I just want to knock out these demigriffs. Okay, we need to get out of here. Okay, so we need these troll torpedoes, probably. right here. Whoa, why am I... What? My guys are chasing way over there. My lords are way isolated. Yeah, my micro is way off. Like... Getting one more shot over here. Jeez, that is awful. That is awful. Just pretend you didn't see that, guys. Can you just do that for me real quick, please? Let's just fire into these guys still. And these troll torpedoes are doing some work. Okay, no. I don't want to be sitting here taking that many shots from those things. Get back. God, these controls are so wonky sometimes. Alright, I'm just going to shoot whatever's available right now. Like, obviously I want to get like the perfect shot, but see, this missile resistance is actually helping me out quite a bit here. So he's just sitting here firing at my cannon, which is fine, because, you know, there's such a small target, and I have missile resistance, and I'm firing into his much larger target of, whatever. Where are these guys? Can we get back here and get on your cannons? How much ammo do I have left? Let's see. Only 8. So I kind of want to save these guys now for the Lord or just something else. How much ammo here? 7. Whoa, run. Actually, this is a pretty juicy target right here. Can I get to that? Oh, nice. He gave it up. Sweet. Okay, so that was pretty good. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't think he was the most experienced player in the world when I played it. I'm not sure if this strategy would have worked against a more experienced player. Now, he did try to come in with his demigriffs, however. So he did try to charge me with the demigriffs. I actually really like those troll hammers now. At least in that fight, they just shattered. Did you see those demigriffs? They just like melted underneath the thunderers, the gyrocopters with brimstone guns, and those troll hammers. I'm not sure which one was what, but they just melted. And then I probably needed maybe one more cannon there to have real artillery superiority. I mean, I don't know why he didn't charge in with his infantry. Like, he had a lot more infantry. So if that would have been probably a stronger player who had some great swords instead of halberdiers and actually charged into me with those, we could have been in trouble. But he didn't have great swords. He didn't even charge me. He just sat there like, he had superiority on me. The only thing that, and especially my lords were way over here, like, I didn't even hit anything with my lords the whole game, because I guess I sent them after the demigriffs, and I forgot to re-micro them, and I was trying to send them back, and they still aren't back yet. They're that slow. That was, I mean, that should have probably cost me the game, not microing that, but I'm really rusty. I haven't played multiplayer in a while. But anyways, yeah, I think that was pretty cool. So yeah, he could have played that better, but I like the strategy. I think it worked. I still think if he would have actually charged in with these units, he probably would have won. He was just chilling though. It felt like he was kind of struggling with micromanagement, like he was just like trying to focus his archers on my gyrocopters, and he just really wasn't paying attention. Like, I was just able to sit here and just shoot him down basically with my troll torpedo. So let's see how they did. See who got kills here. Okay, so the cannons got quite a lot of kills. So the cannons were definitely a good investment. The Slayers somehow got kills. I don't even remember sending them in against the demigriffs though. Honestly, don't know. Now their demigriffs, they got like no kills basically. Their mortars got some kills, but that 20% missile resistance allowed me to trade shots with them pretty effectively, I think. The troll torpedoes got some pretty good shots. The thunders got a lot of kills. Cannons. My brimstone guns got a lot of kills here. Somehow, like, how did these guys even get kills? Maybe they cleaned up demigriffs? I'm not really sure. But yeah, we're kind of forced them to get that. I don't know why you'd get Balthasar Gel. Like, maybe he didn't get the memo that magic really got nerfed. I mean, if he had Carl, a light wizard, and maybe 3 battalions of great swords, and then just spears, all the rest there, I think he probably would have been able to take me down. But anyways, that's okay. It was a good game. So we got to show off some cool new units that I haven't tried before. We got to show off the troll hammers. Now, they only killed 35, but it looked like they were doing a lot of damage to these demigryph knights. I mean, 2 demigryphs charging into dwarf warriors, and they only killed 14 units. Like, that's how fast we killed them. So I think that was definitely good. And it, just reaffirmed, I know the cannons are strong. They're very good for their cost. And I know that the Thunders are very strong too. It's entirely possible that I should just do more Thunders instead of Iron Drakes. But my reasoning behind that, as I explained before, is Iron Drakes have stronger burst damage. So if you're only going to get 1 shot off, if it's a Lord coming in to charge you, or if it's like demigryphs that are charging you and you just need to do maximum damage ASAP, I think the Iron Drakes do more top-end damage. And they also have spread damage, so instead of single shot, if it's like a tightly packed group of demigryphs or blood knights or something like that, I think they do some AoE damage. I'm not quite sure how much it does, but anyways, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. As I said, I'm going on vacation here for the next week or so, but I will be back, and there will be more multiplayer battles for sure. I realize that's one of the more popular things on my channel, and I apologize for neglecting those over the last week or so. I know they're really popular. My only excuse for that was I didn't like multiplayer that much in 1.1, but I think this is a lot better. This is a lot more fun. I don't think there's as much character sniping, so thank you for sticking it out. If you're, subscribed to my channel for the multiplayer, and you've been just eagerly awaiting more multiplayer, I really appreciate you hanging out with me for a little bit there. Also, just, I played League of Legends probably more than I should last week. I was just having a lot of fun. I was trying out some new stuff, and I just really wanted to, I don't know, it was just a League of Legends week. I was just feeling it. So I did a lot of Warhammer stuff, but the combination of just wanting to play some more League, and then at the same time, just kind of being frustrated with multiplayer and the way it was shaping up, I didn't play as much as I probably should. So I haven't forgotten you. If you love the multiplayer battles for Total War Warhammer, and I'm going to do a lot more of them, I promise you that in this patch. This seems like this is a lot more balanced, a lot more fun, at least in my first take of it. I think it's really cool. So I'm really glad they took my suggestions. I mean, obviously they didn't call me up and ask me for them, but I'm glad that we were on the same wavelength there in terms of what needed to be done to make multiplayer better, and they implemented that. So thank you very much for joining me for the first time. I am going to come up with a lot of content in this. Like I said, I already have legendary campaigns going for everything except for the Chaos. I just released a lot of Beastman content. It took quite a while to get those going because it was a big learning curve, but I explained that when you go into the video. It's very informative, very in-depth, just as all the campaigns are, and each one of the campaigns is a pure campaign, which means I don't abuse auto-resolve, I don't assassinate lords on the campaign map, I don't, unless there's like a quest for it or, very minor things. But what I'm talking about there is I don't assassinate a lord and then go attack their army before they get a replacement lord. Because that's a way that you can win, but I just feel like it's sleazy. Like, no one wants to see you assassinate Archaon and then go kill his army. So it's not fun to play, it's not fun to watch. So with all of the campaigns, I try to make it as fun and as informative as possible so that you can both enjoy it, have a good time watching it, but also apply a lot of what I do in the campaign to your own campaigns as well. That's kind of the whole goal there. So it's not just to show off, yeah, I can beat legendary campaigns, hopefully. I haven't completed them yet, so I could still lose them, I guess, but we're in pretty good shape in the campaigns. But the whole goal is to inform you and help you have a better experience when you play your game so that you can play better. And just to encourage a lively community. I always love comments, thinking about it. A lot of times I'll pose questions during the videos. I'll say things like, what do you guys think I should do here? Do you think this was the right choice? What do you think about this decision? And it's every day more and more people are leaving comments, and I think it's a lot of fun to get into good discussions and conversations. It improves my gameplay, and I hope you guys learn a lot from it as well, guys and gals. So we have lots of that on the on the channel, we also have League of Legends. If you haven't checked that out, I know League is kind of an old game, and people either love it or they hate it, and I know there's a ton of other content out there on YouTube, but I think my series is pretty unique because I'm trying to get to Diamond by only playing support every single game. And I think it's fun to watch even if you're not a support main, because I talk a lot about, just the strategic elements of the game. So, good picks versus, enemy picks, good rotations, good choices in the map, awareness, good times to ward, good times to engage, just lots of deep strategy. Because I think there's a lot of misinformation out there that you have to play a champion that just constantly carries, kills everybody, gets all the gold, and that's how you win games. And that's not, that can work, but that's not necessarily true. You can also win games just with good strategic thinking, good morale, being a positive influence on the players in your team is huge, especially at much lower elos. So, in lower elos, I really mean, even up to like gold and platinum, it's still very important to keep your team like motivated and invested in the game. But anyways, that's an exciting series. I comment on those live. I don't talk over replays. It's just me just talking about my decisions as I make them in the game, and I handpick the game. So if it's a bad game, I'm not going to post it up. I only post up good games. Now, I will post up games that I lose sometimes if they are, things that we can definitely learn from, and it wasn't just something like we had a disconnect or some kid just raged and like threw the game on purpose or something like that. And that gives me an advantage over streams, I think, because you get the stream experience in terms of live commentary as I play the game, but you also don't have to sit there and watch as they, if they get really bad games, if you have somebody who's disconnected or you have just a ton of trolls on your team or something like that. So you get the good game selection and the commentary. I think it's really cool. I know it's not the most popular thing on the channel yet, but I'm hoping that more people will check it out and find it interesting. And then finally, I have educational content as well. So if you want to learn how to become a better writer, become a better critical thinker, I'm going to have a lot more education content coming out soon. I've been focusing a lot on Total War Warhammer lately, but as school season gets closer, I'm going to roll out even more educational videos. And those aren't wildly popular, I know, just yet, but I think they're very useful. So if you're a student or you know a student, I highly recommend checking those out. Right now I have How to Write a Better Research Paper, part 1. I'm going to do the other part soon, hopefully. And then also How to Write a Better Cover Letter to get the kind of job that you want to get or to get into the kind of universities you want to get into. So do check those out if you're involved in academia at all, or if you just want to become a better critical thinker. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. If you watch this video and you watch a few other videos, consider interacting with the videos as much as you can. It really helps out a ton. So that means, any likes, subscriptions, comments, telling your friends about it, just anything you can do to get the word out that we have good content on this channel, I think is just super helpful. I think as of this recording, I have 57 subscribers, and I appreciate every single one of you. It means a ton to me. But we need to try to get as many people in here as we possibly can, because I think we have good content that's unique, that other people can't find elsewhere, such as the pure campaigns and the League of Legends that I described, carrying as support. But I just think people may not know about me because I'm still, relatively a rookie. I've only been around for about a month and a half, and so people just don't know about me. So any interactions really help YouTube understand that we have good content, and they will... my videos will actually show up in search results with more interaction. So anything you can do to chip in and help out, I greatly appreciate. And that's going to be it for this video. So thank you very much. Stay tuned for next time. As I said, I'm going to be out of town for a week. So I haven't forgotten you. I haven't abandoned you. I am going to do much more multiplayer, but I should be back around August 8th, and I'm going to just do a ton of games as soon as I get back and publish them up for you. So I'm going to try to make up for lost time. So just stay tuned for that. In the meantime, check out the other videos that I mentioned, the other campaigns. We have lots of good stuff going on there. It should definitely be enough to keep you busy while I'm gone. I hope. And thank you very much. It's always a pleasure broadcasting for you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a wonderful evening.